And the fact it was being used by a group of men made it even more provocative at the time too. Cheers Freddy for that quote, by the way. Man, you were explaining names before I was even born. Rock is one of the most celebrated genres of music out there, and the reason it is so beloved is thanks to the countless rock bands which have created iconic songs which are still receiving airtime to this very day. There are so many rock bands out there, and even more if we factor in all the different subgenres of rock. To settle on just 5 names to explain this video, I decided to go with the bands which are often deemed the most famous and successful within the rock genre. And they just happen to be British too. What can I say? We make some terrific music clearly. So let's look into these 5 iconic rock bands and figure out how they ended up with their now iconic names. And where better to start with not just the most famous rock band, but quite possibly the most famous band of all time. The Beatles. This Fab Four of John, Paul, George and Ringo not only wrote incredible music, but shaped so much of modern music culture too. But despite being formed of 4 key members, the name was created by just 2 people, and only one of them was in the Beatles. Well, in the Beatles as we know them anyway. The name was created by John Lennon and Stuart Sutcliffe, the band's original bass player, but before he died in 1962 at just the age of 21. The band's name was inspired by a different band altogether, the Crickets, Buddy Holly's backing band. The pair wanted a bug-themed name like the Crickets, but decided to mix it up a bit. Instead of spelling Beatles in the usual way, they swapped one of the E's for an A, making the name we all know today. Spelling the beat part of Beatles like this was a simple reference to the fact that the band made beats. And damn good beats at that. But yeah, all in all, the name of perhaps the most famous band of all time is actually just a silly pun devised by 2 kids in their bedroom one night. Next up we have the Rolling Stones, another beloved rock band from around the same time as the Beatles. But unlike the Beatles, somehow they are still around today. Man, we need to think about the world we're leaving behind for Keith Richards, as the old saying goes. Anyway, the idea of a Rolling Stone crops up all across the world of rock music, from the magazine of the same name to the Bob Dylan song Like a Rolling Stone. Yet its origins in rock go back further than this band, that song, or that magazine. It ultimately stems from the saying, a rolling stone gathers no moss, which means that something or someone that is constantly on the move won't ever build up things like commitments or responsibilities. In many ways, the phrase perfectly captures the whole rock and roll vibe, I suppose. It was first featured in music via the Muddy Waters song Rolling Stone, which was released all the way back in 1950. The song was hugely inspirational to later rock bands, as it was this song the Rolling Stones took their name from, and the magazine took their name from the song too. Dylan's song meanwhile was just an adaptation of the saying, though maybe he was inspired by Muddy Waters too, and you know, there's the whole fact that a Rolling Stone, rock music, stones, they're both minerals, or I don't know, is a stone a rock, is a rock a stone? I don't know, they're the same thing I guess. Before we continue, I want to say a huge thank you to my most recent patrons and super thanks. So a huge thank to new patron Benny Factor. Benny Factor. I just got that when I said it out loud. Is that your actual name, or is that either that's your actual name and you were put on this planet to be a benefactor of Patreon for people like me on Patreon, or that's just a really good pun. Well done, Benny Factor. You caught me completely off guard there. I was just reading the script and I said that out loud. Benny Factor. Yep. Well done you, mate. But anyway, and super thanks leaver Christine Brown 3359. Patreon is the best way to financially support Name Explained, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what names I've explained, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/Name Explained, which will be linked down below. Conversely, if you want to make a one-time donation, you can leave a super thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. But moving on, we have a band whose work I'm not actually that familiar with, Pink Floyd. They're seen as a more experimental rock band, but have gained a huge following around the world anyway, all while having that rather odd name of Pink Floyd. While this name might seem odd at first, it's actually an ode to 2 musicians that came before the band. The original name for the band was T-Set, coined by the band's original frontman Syd Barrett. This name had to be dropped at the last minute just before they went out to perform, as the band also performing just before them on that same night had this exact same name with T-Set. The story goes that in the spur of the moment, Syd came up with the name of Pink Floyd. He would go on to say that the name was a compound of 2 older blues musicians, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. He simply took both of their first names and made them the name of his own band. Queen are a beloved rock band too, fronted by Freddie Mercury, and they were renowned for their incredible live performances and songs made to be belted out at a stadium. That name of Queen was chosen by Mercury himself. In fact, we have a whole quote from him as to why he chose that name. He said that it's just a name, but it's very regal obviously, and it sounds splendid. It couldn't have been King. It doesn't have the same ring or aura as Queen. It's a strong name, very universal and immediate. It has a lot of visual potential and was open to all sorts of interpretations. I was certainly aware of the gay connotations, but that was just one facet of it. So it seems that this name was settled on for all of those factors, and he was right in what he said. Queen really is a simple universal word which carries a lot of connotations to it. And the fact it was being used by a group of men made it even more provocative at the time too. Cheers Freddie for that quote, by the way. Man, you were explaining names before I was even born. I think so? When did Freddie Mercury die? I think he died before I was born. I can't remember. Someone let me know if he died before or after 1994 because I don't know. But maybe he said that just before I died, or maybe he said it before. But anyway, Freddie, explaining names. Cheers, buddy. And finally, we have the Who. Who am I talking about here? The Who. Oh, right, the Who. The name of this rock band has tickled and confused people for decades now, and it seems that this name was chosen by the band themselves to confuse people. When they first formed, they went under the name of the Detours. But once again, it turned out there was another band by that name, much like the Pink Floyd scenario too. From here, the story goes that the band's co-founder Pete Townshend and his flatmate at the time were up late racking their brains for a new name for the band. They started suggesting jokey, somewhat anti-names to the band, like just The Group or No One, and eventually landed on The Who, which had a good ring to it, so it stuck around. Of course, that's just 5 rock band names, but let me know about any other interesting rock band names I might have missed out on. And please go suggest a topic down below which we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything, and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them in a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic covered in next Monday's Name Explain video. You can vote in that poll, as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough for myself, but don't forget to go follow me on Instagram on NameExplainYT, and don't forget to join the Facebook page, Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. Happy afternoon, happy Wednesday, filming on a Wednesday today, because why not I guess. So I just noticed that my teleprompter's a bit out, there we go, I can see it all now, cool. Yeah, cool. Should we begin? Right, rock bands, yeah. Over, I don't know. I haven't listened to rock music in ages. Should we begin? Cool. No, to the Bob Dylan song. Bob Dylan. Thank you. Any factor. I genuinely I was just typing and I copy and pasted it into the script from Patreon. I said it out loud. I was like, oh, I get that now. That's very clever. Fronted by Freddie. Okay. That's a wrap. We're done. And so the reason I'm saying that's a wrap is because I think that's a wrap on this. Yeah, my Under the Stairs office is going very smoothly, and I think this Friday I'm going to move in there. I'm going to take as much of this crap from in here as I can and move into my new office. So the next video we film, if it all goes according to plan, should be Under the Stairs. I'm still working on it. It's going to be a work in process for the next few weeks. You'll have my face on a camera at the very least, I reckon. Whew, good times. Bye, office.